You and me, we ain't nothing alike. Let's set the record straight. Those words you say, they hold no weight, they like. Let's set the record straight. You'll never break the man before you're out.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another NASCAR Authentics Wave preview. Today we're taking a look at Wave 3. This came out while I was in Ohio, so I did not get to the chance to actually kind of preview this wave when it came out, but I did get to take a look, and I kind of made a little bit of a post about it on Instagram. Some of these diecasts just seem so poorly decaled, and it looks weird. Now when I'm saying poorly decaled, I mean the quality itself. Some of it is super blurry. Now a lot of people are saying it might be the video, which could be true to an extent, but at the same time, why is that specific couple sets of decals a little, blurry, and the rest of that specific car is still, crystal clear? But whenever we actually get into this kind of preview here, I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. So this is NASCAR Authentics 2022 Wave 3. We have found Wave 1 and 2, and then of course we've already found the test car wave as well. So as of right now, we are caught up, just looking for Wave 3. This came out on August 11th, so I'm about, 4, 5, maybe 6 days a little late, which, I mean, again, it came out when I was not home, so I couldn't really take a look at it, but now is the time. I guess you can say better late than never. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have for this specific wave. First up in this wave, we have the number 8 of Josh Berry for the 2022 Tire Pros paint scheme. Now, he actually got this in the Gold Series quite some time ago, and actually, I think this was an early release, along with the Dell Jr., so that was quite some time ago, as I already said, but this will be in my collection in the Gold Series, because I already have it, and I was going to make the Gold Series into the race win. I don't really remember what track it was, but now that this came out in the Authentics line, I'm going to spare the number 8 in the Gold Series, keep it untouched, and then I will do the custom out of this one on your screen, of course, from the wave. That way we don't have to tear up a perfectly good Gold Series paint scheme, and not only that, of course, this was going to be a lot cheaper, so we're going to turn this into the custom, again, spare the Gold Series, but this paint scheme is phenomenal. I've always loved this car ever since I saw it. The black and the red go super well together, and when you throw in that white, it just kind of clears everything up, and it makes it look so much better. It reminds me of a lot of DieCastbuffet's colors, because, he's all red, white, and black, so pretty awesome paint scheme. Again, definitely going to be picking it up in the Authentics, turning it into the custom, and then calling it a day. Next up, we have Christopher Bell in the 2022 DeWalt paint scheme. Now, this one is actually kind of interesting, and I do want to talk about this one, because this one also came out in the Gold Series. In the Gold Series, it has the chrome reflective numbers, right? In the Authentics line, as you can see here, it doesn't. It's just gray, and that's kind of weird. I'm not really too sure. I've heard a few people say that the chrome numbers are exclusive to the Gold Series. I'm not really too sure how accurate that is, but I mean, as far as I can tell, it seems pretty much that's how it is. Whether it's official or not official yet, I have not really seen any chrome numbers in the Authentics line as far as I can tell in terms of Gen 7. But I've seen quite a few in the Gold Series, so I'm not really too sure about how that's kind of happening, because if you think about it, I mean, you would think it'd just be pretty much the same decal sheet, right? Like, if they're throwing it onto the same body, it's the same scale. It's just the same thing, except for it's got a different interior color, which has nothing to do with the outside of the car. Why wouldn't it also, why would it not be chrome? That doesn't really make sense. I'm not really too sure how or why that's happening. I don't know if kind of like Lionel is like, well, you're paying a little bit less for the Authentics line, so we are going to kind of bump down the quality a little bit, aka talking about something like the, reflective numbers. But you're paying a little more for the Gold Series, so we're going to give you a little more quality in the Gold Series, aka the banners, interior detail, or the color switch in the interior, and chrome numbers. So I'm not really too sure if that's how that's happening, or if that's why that's happening. But nonetheless, I am definitely seeing a split between Gold Series and Authentics when it comes to these chrome numbers. But the paint scheme, nonetheless, looks fantastic. I love the DeWalt schemes, I always have. But with that chrome number not being there, it doesn't look very right. I feel like a white number 20 would look better than just that kind of gray color. But I mean, of course, it's supposed to be a silver, chrome, metallic, whatever color number. So I mean, I don't know. It's weird. I don't really understand how that's happening or why that's happening. But I can only assume it's something with the pay difference in the Gold Series and Authentics, and that has something to do with the quality as well. Again, I'm not really too sure, but that might be something we have to kind of figure out a little later on. Next up, we have Ryan Blaney in the 2022 Menards Libman paint scheme. So, I actually have not seen this paint scheme for myself. Now, like in person, it is out in the Gold Series. I did not pick it up, but it's in the Authentics line, so I more than likely will kind of pick it up. Now, I'm trying to limit what I have for Gold Series, because if I'm bringing back the Little Wrangler Cup Series, I'm going to try to focus on more just primary paint schemes to kind of cut a little bit of cost in terms of just going to that specific thing. Because, I mean, as of right now, I've put a buttload of money into just donors for customs, so I'm going to try to stick with, as far as the actual legitimate drivers, I'm going to try to stick to just primaries. I don't know if this is one of them, but this is one that has been already released. Now, here's the thing. I do want to kind of talk about this for Menards. In Ohio, a couple days ago, I went to this Menards, and it was like one of the biggest stores I've ever been in. And not only that, if you notice, like, that Dayglow yellow, it's with the Menards sponsor. You can go back to a lot of Menards paint schemes, and, like, they're all that Dayglow yellow, right? So when I went into this Menards, their primary color was green. I saw, like, no Dayglow yellow. It was just the green you kind of see with the Libman. Now, I'm not really too sure if the Libman is, like, a co-sponsor for Menards. I don't know if that's one of their products or anything, but the whole store was, like, green. The shopping carts were green. The signs were green. So I figured Menards would be a green car. Now, of course, this one has green on it, but I'm talking about, like, if you have different, say, like with Duracell, Menards and Duracell. If Duracell was on the hood, it would be black instead of that green. So I'm not really too sure about why Menards is that Dayglow yellow. But, I mean, I'm sure I'm missing something. But nonetheless, this paint scheme is actually really nice. Now, we've seen this similar paint scheme here, in recent times. And, I don't know, on the Gen 7 paint scheme, it still looks pretty darn good. Notice it does have the silver rims instead of, like, a Dayglow yellow like, it would normally have. So I don't know if I'm going to pick this up in the Authentics or the Gold Series, or both. I'm not really too sure what I'm going to do just yet. But nonetheless, if you're a Blaney fan, I recommend picking up this car. Oh boy. Well, next up we have Alex Bowman. And, man, this is the 2022 primary paint scheme for Ally. And I'm not a fan. Not of the paint scheme. Don't get me wrong. Paint scheme's okay. But what happened to the color on this freaking car? I don't know why. I don't know how it happened. But the worst part is Hendrick approved of this type of white for the car, and I will never understand. I don't get it. But, like, it's ugly. It is a very creamy color. It's just a very dirty white. It looks terrible compared to the actual car. The actual car is like a really clean white, or like an ice white, or a snow white. But this one's more of like a cream color, and I'm not a fan whatsoever. It looks like this diecast has sat in, I don't know, somebody's freaking garage or like basement for like 50 years, and the color's worn out on it. I mean, it doesn't look very good. But, of course, with me being me, we have to get it in the Authentics because, I am a collector of Bowman. I get all of his stuff, so, yeah, quite unfortunate. And I've talked about this before. I've actually seen that they canceled the Ally Pride car and all that stuff, so I gotta make a custom of that. I don't have to, but I'm going to. I think I ordered 2 of the Ally schemes in the Gold Series, and I'm going to keep one, and of course turn one into the Ally Better Together scheme, and then one's just going to be, just kind of untouched. And this one I will be getting in the Authentics line, but I'm not going to be opening it because, of course, I want to keep it sealed in package. But the white on this car is very, very disappointing. Now, I do also want to talk about the rims. What in the world is going on with the rims? It's like a very dirty silver. I don't understand, man. I don't like it. Now, also, we're getting the, was it Las Vegas? I think he won for 2022. Either way, I hope that white is fixed on that car, because if it's not, I'm actually going to cry. It's going to be sad, and I'm going to have a little hissy fit, because that's what I like to do. So, yeah, if that's not fixed on the, you know, supposed to be super accurate car of a race win, I'm not going to be very happy, but I guess I can let this slide. It does suck. I hate the cream color. It's because it's supposed to be a really pretty white, and it's more of like a grandma white. I hate this color so much. But at the same time, I guess there's nothing I can really do about it if I want a production car from Lionel. But again, the white on this, it really kills the whole vibe for me. I'm not a big fan, but again, it is what it is, and I guess we just have to take it and kind of go on. Next up is one I just kind of did a review on not too long ago, but this is the Kyle Larson 2022 HendrickCars.com scheme. Now, here's what I kind of want to showcase. Look at how pixelated these specific decals are. Look at the Goodyear logo. Look at the NASCAR Cup Series logo. Look at the Kyle Larson on the name rail. Look at the B post. Look at the HendrickCars.com on the side. Look at the number 5. Look at that entire side. It's so bad. I don't understand how this happened, but this quality is absolutely insanely bad. Like, I cannot help but to say something about that, because, I mean, normally it's like, oh, yeah, you know, it's $5 quality, $6 quality, whatever. Yeah, okay, yeah, whatever, you're right. But at the same time, you're supposed to be able to read what is on the car. You cannot sit there and tell me, if you did not know that was a NASCAR race car logo, you cannot sit there and tell me that is what that is. I mean, you can't. There's no way. You can barely just slightly make out NASCAR in the top of that box, but on the bottom, it just looks like a black line. I mean, you could not sit there and tell me what that is. And I refuse to sit there and have somebody say, yeah, I can tell you what that is. No, you couldn't. I don't know what happened, but it's like this one on, I think, the Elliott car and the Harvick car, too. So, I mean, again, we'll talk about that whenever we get there, but this quality is just so bad. And I'm really waiting to see on if it's the actual car, like in the store, or if it's just that specific car in the video. And again, I'm not really too sure. So until I actually receive one of these in my hands for the Authentics line, I guess I have to bite my tongue for now. But if it's the same, there's definitely going to be a rant review, and it's going to be pretty ranty. So just let's hope that's not what it has to come down to. Next up, we have William Byron in the 2022 Axalta paint scheme. Now, it looks like we just saw this paint scheme, but I mean, of course we didn't. That was just a test car. But here is the actual paint scheme. It's pretty much the same, not gonna lie, but I mean, the only difference, what should be, is just the numbers slid forward. We have seen this paint scheme since 2021, or yeah, 2021. He did not have it for 2020. But he did have it for 2021, and of course he kind of carried it over into 2022. Not only that, he did win in this car at Homestead in 2021, so that one just got released in the Authentics line not too long ago, actually. But I'm pretty sure this is like pretty much a primary scheme wave, which honestly I'm completely down for. Especially if you're a stop motion person and you don't really like buying the online cars and you want to go kind of cheaper. This wave is right up your alley. I mean, it is like everything you need. It's got a bunch of primaries. I think the Elliott is the Hooters car, I think. I don't think it's actually a primary. Well, it's not a primary. I think, was there a Kyle Busch in here too, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I think that one's a primary. And there should be like one or two more that's a primary as well. So far, this is a pretty solid wave, of course, with it being all of the primary schemes and stuff, or at least, you know, primary or secondary. take out, the terrible Bowman colored car and some of the like decaling on the Larson and some of these other cars, I mean, it's a pretty solid wave, but I'm going to kind of look past the white on the Bowman and look past the really bad decaling on the Larson and some of these other ones. So we'll kind of get that rating overall at the end. But nonetheless, I still think this is a pretty awesome car. I kind of wish they did the Axalta a little bit bigger, but at the same time, I understand why, because it kind of has that green right there in the way. So, I mean, you can't really extend it too much, but I still think it looks pretty good. Oh, well, would you look at that? That is exactly what I'm talking about. Here's the Kyle Busch 2022 M&Ms primary scheme. Exactly what I was talking about in the last clip there. It's just, it is what it is. It's just the M&M's primary paint scheme. And it's weird because it looks so plain because there's no sponsorship. You don't see M&M's, but you see M&M's. It's weird. I don't get it. I don't like it, but I like it at the same time. Of course, instead of the 18 being in the center and on the red M&M, they got the red M&M as an actual character. Same with the green and the orange. So, I mean, it's weird because it's designed, but there's no sponsorship. You got a small Interstate Batteries logo and a small Ream logo, a small DeWalt on the back post, but like, it's weird. I don't know how I feel about it being this plain, but this not plain at the same time. But I mean, nonetheless, we've seen this since Elliott Sadler, the classic, M&M's paint scheme, the yellow base with all the M&M's on it. Seen it for years, not going to change anytime soon. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. It's not going to change anytime soon because it's not going to be here anytime soon. Come next year, it's either next year or the year before. I don't know. I don't remember if it's after 2023 or after 2022. I think it's after 2022. But Mars is leaving the sport, and yeah, there will be no M&M scheme anymore. So technically, I was right. It's not going to change, but it's also not going to exist after the season. So I guess there's that. Not to mention, I'm pretty sure this will be in the Gold Series, so I'm probably going to pick it up there and not here as well. I might pick it up maybe for a custom crash, I don't know, maybe later on in the year if he gets in a crash or something, but nonetheless, this is still a pretty cool paint scheme, given the somewhat lack/non-lack of sponsorship. Here's another one that kind of has that decal issue. This is Chase Elliott, the 2022 Hooters paint scheme. First of all, I like the scheme. Second of all, I think the past three, or like the past two with this one, so three technically, are all early releases. They're actually at the track right now. This Hooters car, the Kyle Busch car, and the Byron car, I believe, are all early releases. So, in terms of Gold Series, of course, this is the Authentics line, so technically it's going to be released, but not just yet. So technically we're getting these before the Gold Series, I'm pretty sure. So that's kind of something to look at. So speaking of looking at, let's kind of take a look at the quality on this car. So, I mean, look at the blue. The kind of the shades of blue, right? They're so pixelated, they're not clean cut at all. And if you look at the Elliott name on the roof banner there, or not the roof banner, but the name rail, that's super blurry. The Kelly Blue Book behind that is blurry. I think that's Valvoline on the C post all the way in the back. That's blurry too. Which, I mean, I'm sure the whole the glare, the reflection doesn't really make any, help for this car, but I mean, I can tell it's still blurry. The UniFirst and Lumar is a pretty thick looking sponsor there. The Napa looks okay. The Hooters text looks okay. The Owl does look a little pixelated as well, so does the number 9. And the Goodyear is super bulky, and as the same thing with the A-Shock too. That's also kind of bulk as well. And NASCAR Cup Series logo is still a little, I don't know, it kind of looks like it bled into each other. So it's just, I don't know. It's just, it doesn't look too good in terms of the quality. And something I think T-Mac pointed out, one of my good buddies, look on the front end of this car. There's a bow tie. So this car has a dual bow tie on the front end. Kind of hate that, but kind of not at the same time. So I don't know. I guess I'm going to say the same thing with the Larson. If you just kind of wait until you have this in your hand, then you can kind of judge how pixelated it is, or if it's mass produced that way. Because in the Gold Series, it looked nothing like this. It looked a lot cleaner, a lot more sharp. The colors are a lot better. So I don't know. I guess it's just another thing where we kind of have to sit and wait. Next up, this one also kind of makes me sick to my stomach because this thing is just an absolute eyesore. First of all, first things first, no matter how many ways you flip-flop the sponsor, the scheme, whatever, I'm kind of tired of seeing the Hunt Brothers Pizza logo. The sponsorship in general, the Hunt Brothers Pizza. I mean, it's good pizza, don't get me wrong, but, dude, we've seen this since, what, 2019? We've seen it 2019, 2020, 2021, now 2022. Not only that, we've seen it in 2 different times in the Truck Series. I mean, I'm already tired of the sponsor. I'm not going to lie. And, again, if you look at the decaling, what is that? Like, the green is so beautiful, so smooth. Then you get to the decaling, and you could tell it's a decal, which is weird. You should not be able to tell that with Lionel's things. Now, maybe if it's a custom, yeah, you could probably tell the difference between the actual color of the car and the decaling, but, I mean, dude, this is just not good. You can see every single pixel in the entirety of the side decal. I mean, again, the same thing with the Elliott car. The Goodyear logo is all messed up. It's like double, triple printed for whatever reason. The Kevin Harvick logo up on the name rail is really, just really messy. The Goodyear, not Goodyear, but the NASCAR Cup Series logo, again, is just super, pixelated. I don't know what's going on. But again, just like the Elliott and the Larson, I guess I had to bite my tongue on this one, because as much as I want to absolutely rip on this car, until I get it in my hands, I'm not really going to know. So, I mean, also to add insult to injury, you can see on the back quarter panel, the Subway logo is pixelated. The Hunt Brothers Pizza logo, again, is pixelated. And I don't even know what's in the center. So, I mean, it's not looking good. It's really not. And honestly, if you didn't know already, this paint scheme is also the liquid color. And it looks so much worse in the liquid color form. The green, once again, so beautiful. God, that's amazing. But the decal, what is wrong with the decal? It looks like somebody poured a bunch of sugar onto the side of the car. It looks that bad. That is a serious concern. This is probably one of the biggest Lionel flops I've seen in a long time, and they've had a lot of them. So, dude, is that spoiler green too? That's actually kind of cool. But, I mean, other than that, I mean, it looks bad. I don't know what in the world is going on with this scheme. But it's ugly. First of all, first Gen 7 liquid color. Just want to throw that out there. But, I mean, dude, it's bad. It's bad. I don't know, man. Just, not a very good look. Actually, I want to kind of look at something real quick. I'm going to go to the Lionel Authentics website. And I want to see if they look the same. I don't want Wave 1. I want the Authentics. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if I can tell this. Well, it's kind of small, in all honesty. Well, never mind. I'm not going to really worry about it too much. But yeah, overall, if you take out the quality issues as far as what we see, this is actually a fairly decent wave. We got another Kevin Harvick car, which is going to be, good for stop motion. We got a Josh Berry car, Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, Alex Bowman, Larson, Byron, Busch, and Elliott, which is all first-time drivers for the Gen 7, cars for the Authentics. So, I mean, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good driver variety. I don't think there's any repeats in terms of drivers, so that's honestly really good. And even then, we got a Xfinity car as well. So, personally, I believe I'm going to give this wave a solid 8 out of 10. I feel like 8's pushing it a little bit. I kind of want to give it a 7.5, but there's not really a lot they can kind of throw into the wave right now. So, I'm going to give it an 8, benefit of the doubt. So, I mean, honestly, I think it's a pretty darn good wave. Now, I'm not going to pick up a lot of these cars, or at least I don't plan to, as of right now. Of course, I'll get the Bowman and whatnot, so I don't know. We kind of have to see whenever that time kind of rolls around, because I got plenty of donors right now. I don't really need any for donors or anything, so I should be good on that. But if I do happen to find the wave, I'll kind of look at the the 4, the 5, and the 9 and kind of see if that quality issue is still there. If they are as bad as they looked in the pictures, I will get them and, of course, bring them to do a rant review on, then turn them into customs later. So, until then, I believe that is going to be all for this NASCAR Wave preview. So, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.
Take away everything that I ever worked for. I'ma keep on pushing till